Code switching, a pedagogical tool. Now, code switching can actually be used as a very effective pedagogical tool, that is, as a tool for teaching learners. So there are several benefits to it. My argument is that if code switching has been happening in the classrooms, and if the teachers have been using it intuitively, then there must have been some sort of benefit attached to it. So we are not saying that there should be a lot of code switching, but if it is carefully planned and done properly, then there are pedagogical benefits to it. So these pedagogical benefits are not just restricted to teaching of the subject content, but also in the teaching of a majority or a different language also, because it enables the learners to develop some sort of connection with the language that they already know. It offers a scaffolding. For instance, think about the group work when you put students in a group and you're teaching them, for instance, English. And you give them a task. Now, depending on what the point of the task was, if it was problem solving, understanding, comprehension, coming up with answers related to that, and if the purpose was not communicating or fluency development, then if we don't allow the learners to use a language that they know, any regional or vernacular that they know, to resolve that problem as they discuss it with each other, we actually silence the students, because we are forcing them to use a language which they don't know to resolve a problem which they don't know. And how do they engage with each other? How do they question each other? How do they co-construct a knowledge if they don't use a linguistic tool that is available to them? So it also allows them, this code switching, asking the students to actually focus on the content itself, to ask questions in any language that they know. This leads to a deeper understanding of the work. So I remember from one of my researches, there was this girl who would say, we would actually said the words that we would sit in the class as if bound and gagged, because if we do not understand, how do we question? So both for understanding and also for questioning, it's very important to allow the learners to use a language that they know. However, again, it comes back to that we should know when we are doing it and what is the purpose of this, what was the role of this space for the other language in the classroom. It's important for connecting with the learners, making rapport, developing relationships of trust, because if we come from a socio-cultural theory of learning, relationships of trust are very important for any sort of learning. And we want to explain a given content, then we need to use all the linguistic tools that are available to us. This also legitimizes translanguaging, that is how language is used outside. But the disadvantage is that if left to their own devices, the teachers might just outdo code switching to an extent in which the children might not be able to learn the majority language or the academic language of the subject to the extent that they needed to advance their careers or appear in their examination. And the teacher, because she's just comfortable in one language rather than the other, might just impose that kind of language on the students. So too much is left to chance, and at times those in minority might be ignored.